Are you into books, and what is your favorite genre of books, like reading?
To be real, nimekuwa nikisoma sana sana self help groups books. Niko na dyslexia, so I struggle to read my phrase sana, so nilikuwa nashindwa kumaliza vitabu. Nimesoma vitabu mob lakini nashindwa kumaliza, especially when it comes to something like that's very scientific fiction, alafu ni kubwa na nalemewa kabisa. African stories have been my best, napenda also African fiction have been my best, but right now I've chosen other ways of reading. Squeezing nasomanga natumia audiovisual books, so unapata I'm listening at the same time I'm reading. Right now I'm so much into self-help group books. Nasoma vitu mob za kuwa tu a better human being. The last 2 years nimekuwa nikisoma sana hizo.
Would you attribute the dyslexia to the reasons why when you were launching like your book, you were like, this is too many pages, we need to like reduce the pages?
Nilisema hivyo. Nilisema
ni kubwa sana, we need to reduce.
Ni kubwa. Na realize as an artist, as a writer, I am, how can I say, nakuwa stimulated na things that I feel around. So unapata sengine hata nasoma, lakini what I'm reading, mind yangu dive into some imagination, naanza kufikiri, naanza kuacha kusoma na ingia kwa hii dunia. So unapata word itakuwa conscious, nasema kitu kingine. Cause unajua, so unapata a cause, yani how dyslexia is, una mix two words. Alasa when that happens, sasa nasoma a whole phrase, unapata natoka kwa trail of thought. Alasa book inaanza kunibo. Even though it happens. So squeezy na try so much, nasikiza at the same time nikisoma, nasikiza at the same time nikiangalia. So unapata na internalize even something even better. Yeah.
Now how did you cope like with that, especially in, for example, like high school when you're doing set books and you're told in class like stand and read like a whole?
Hasa mimi nilikuwa noma, and after a while mwalimu aliacha tu kunichagua sana because nilikuwa na struggle, especially kwa kusoma English. Swahili nao nilikuwa nasoma vipoa, fluent. English ilikuwa inanisumbua. So nilikuwa saa nyingine na watu wanaacha na take time. I used to take my time and read. But my English teacher realized ana push it too hard. Aliacha kunipatia paragraphs. Lakini Kiswahili.
And when did you actually discover that you have this problem, and what are you now doing to actually kind of like better yourself or live with it?
To be sincere, I just continued reading. Na niliacha lay emphasis on being perfect at reading. These days I lay more emphasis on understanding the context. So unapata inaweza kuambia this is my 31st, but no, so nilikuja na realize the context is what matters. See the sentence construction sana. So nilianza kusoma pole. Kitambo nilikuwa naweza soma haraka ndio nimalize niende kwa the next. So unapata nimesoma 3 books, lakini I think just kujijua, the more najijua the more najua what's for me and what's not for me. So nili internalize more. So squeeze that it's not a big deal to me. I can take a long time just to read a phrase, like a paragraph in English, but it's fine. Mimi understand context. Haikuwa ati speed ya kumaliza.
I'm gonna relate your album to the album that you've currently released, Savage Level, to the kids' content. Now, when you I've listened to all the jams, by the way. My favorite is Anxiety. Listening to the content in the album, it talks a lot about mental health issues, actually. Would you say that is something that you faced growing up as a kid, and would you attribute that to you having the character, him, on as the cover for now your book?
Yeah. There's a lot of wellness, a mental kind of checkups, especially for men, and it was a coincidence because as I was writing this album, it was also like a COVID kind of album. So also like there's periods where I went through a lot of mental breakdown, because there was so much uncertainty of what was going to happen next. So I wrote a lot about things to do with just watching your energy, being able to understand yourself, and that's when the conscious decision of just writing about me being able to understand who I am. Because I think through this album I've been able to understand more who I am. I had to dig deep. I had to become super vulnerable for people to be able to understand. And when you look at songs like Anxiety, there's Reggae Kinyozi, there's Balance. Yes, there's a lot of ways in which I think I like it when not being extreme. And through this period I just understood like having a balance, being able to live as a community, being able to look for, when you look for, to ask for help when you want help, being able to exist with others like the wild dog was super paramount for me in this album. And I'm explaining, it's like this album is like a prophecy of, or is like, I don't know, is my world, is how I want people to live and the things that I've seen and how I want people to exist. And when I look at kids, when I look at this character Savage, is a character that goes through all that anxiety, goes through all that courage, goes through happiness, go through what, and everyone goes through that. So I'm using this character Savage just to tell stories along the river, which has tributaries, and each tributary is a song. There's a song called In My Heart, which expresses love. I've sung up to my mom in terms of how she made me in terms of fashion. So there's a lot of cultural ways and cultural things that I'm celebrating, but also using this character Savage. Yeah.
And when it comes to now the character that you're creating, looking at it like visually, tukiangalia, there's sort of like a human aspect, there's an animal aspect, there's the robotic aspect. What is like the whole story behind now the character and how?
This,
can I say it looks or he looks or she looks?
Any. So for me, is the Afrofuturism kind of approach to this. I like the wild dog, and I wanted it to be half human, half wild dog, and maybe part of it to be robotic. The robotic is just to add a futuristic element to this, because we are living at an age whereby, man, it's a time where robots are starting to replace even humans, and AI has taken over. I live in the now, but as a writer, I like to look way ahead, and naturally I just look way ahead. So there's a way the robotic nature implies of a futuristic approach to life, and it dictates that this character is gonna morph into something doper. And morphing is not only physically, but it's all mental, spiritually. So you're gonna see the stories that are gonna be told now are gonna link everything together. You're gonna see why when he runs, he turns into half robot and then assumes his power, whereby he takes all his power, and taking all your power is becoming savage, and becoming savage is you now understanding yourself and elevating yourself into this kind of state whereby even a politician won't tell you nothing. Like you live in a state of yourself, and that's how I want the kids of today to be able to just raise their vibration and to question things. Unajua, you just not given something and you take. You question the existence of something. You question the existence of God. Yeah, you question, ask why, how. That's when a cult won't approach you na uingie box. Lakini wewe ukiambiwa tu kitu ni kitu fulani na uwezi question, unapata mtu anaingia kwa cult at 18, mtu ameingia kwa cult, unashangaa kwa nini hakuwa na question. But these days I meet kids who can question me, even nikimwambia unajua this and this, ananiambia why, and I find myself, wait a minute, I cannot be able to answer some stuff paka mimi mwenyewe naanza ku unlearn vitu zenye nili believe na siku question. So for me, that's the purpose.